different ways in which people react to failure is a motivational puzzle. What causes some to sail forth into the world with great promise and strong trajectory, and then quit after only one defeat? Unable to rise from their failures, they scale down their dreams and live out their lives in cautious mediocrity. On the other hand, what allows others to be capable of endless renewal? Failure seems to make them only more determined to overcome, and when they stumble, they pick themselves up, learn from their mistakes, and go on to finish their race with distinction. So we're going to get better no matter what happens with the horses tonight. Okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
We define our characters from our actions dealing with uncertain times. We define our spirit by working through our preconceived impossibilities. And in that experience of wanting to evolve, to become better than who you were yesterday, lies the cowboy spirit. Welcome back to Veater Ranch. Today's a simple day. Practice your heart out and prepare for the circuit finals.
So it was pretty fun. Jess and I went up there to Greeley, Colorado, and it was just a pretty good experience. So my first horse I got on was Hawkeye, and that was, or Warhawk, excuse me. And it was a pretty good horse. I just, my first time being there, I don't know why I was nervous, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't in my normal confident state of mind. And so I missed my horse out. I haven't missed one out in like 2 years. So I got a little behind, but the horse felt really good and made a good spur ride on it. But if you miss him out, none of that matters. So then the next, my next performance, I got a horse called Peanut Butter Oreo, and both were high-low rodeo horses, and they were phenomenal. The stock contractors were super nice and friendly. And before that ride, Jess came up and he was like, "Hey, what the hell are you nervous for? You're Reed Neely and you ride like you do at practice. Tell her to suck her up." And so it seemed like he was about to fight me for a second. He like squared up, and I was like, okay, kind of got me on my toes. And then I was a little more confident that round, and rode like I normally do, marked him out for 2, and just went to spur and didn't miss a lick. And so that was a fun experience. But still, to be there, even with the amount of crowd there was, still a pretty amazing deal to get to go to something like that. Especially two guys coming from this ranch, the Veater team. It's a nice representation of us.
It was fun. I had a good strong first round. I was 78 or 79 in the first round. The horse kind of come out, stumbled and set up and got a little western, but I rode him through it and it was good. I was really happy going into the second round. Second round went to shit, and it was my fault. I had a really good horse, another one that they actually won the first round on him, and as soon as I nodded, he just went down on his belly. The gate opened, the horse kind of rolled to the side like he was going to roll over, but then he stood back up and jumped forward, and I was just out of whack, out of time. Didn't get a good start on him. By the time he turned and left the chute, I think I only got to spur him like 2 or 3 times before the whistle blew, and 68 points, so my average was, at that point, I was still actually in the top 8, and I was kind of crossing my fingers, hoping other people would have a tough go too. Unfortunately, I ended up, like 12th or 11th or 12th or something, the average, and I missed the top 8 round. But it was still an awesome experience. It just fueled the fire. I came back, and now I have just so much more motivation to go into circuit finals here next month and win the average and try to make it one more trip to the Dodge, because that's just a fun rodeo and a good experience. So I'd like to go one more time.
Okay guys, we're about ready for our first ride, and we have Jess Williams, California champ, professional circuit champ. Won everything in California last year. He's the man, 41 years old, defying the laws of age and gravity. He's awesome, and he's on our little stud horse, which we're excited about. He's been a really good bucking horse for us, and he's breeding these mares, so I hope he keeps bucking. This ought to be fun. Yeah, I'm not blaming you. Yeah! That little horse, you see, he bucked really nice, and then he got in that little circle, and then he didn't buck near as good. He started wallowing around. So what we'll do next time for him, I mean, Jess did all he could do on that ride, but we'll put Eric here on him in the bareback riding, which will free up nothing on his head, and he'll be able to get lined out. And so he's gonna get in the other event next time until he starts straightening out. Okay, this is Dave, and he's getting ready to ride this 849. We call him Curly Bill, and no, I'm sorry, this is Ringo. The other one, his brother's Curly Bill right there. He looks just like him. I get them mixed up. They're both off Tombstone characters. Anyway, he's just a nice hopper. He'll go out here he'll kind of veer off to the right. Should be just Dave should peel him up and have fun. There you go.
Get on your line. Yeah.
Huh.
One jump is really good.
He's just a nice hopper today. Okay, we have one bareback rider that we invited here tonight, and this is Eric, and he's in high school rodeo. So he's just starting his career, and you'll be impressed with this kid. He's got all kinds of try and good attitude, and if he gets bucked off, he runs up and wants to get on something else. You know, that he's got that attitude that we talked about at the beginning of this particular session. So this ought to be really good. We're putting him on Maleficent. We saw Maleficent last week, last week with Jess Williams, and make a beautiful ride on Maleficent. She is typically a Bronc horse in the Bronc riding. We're putting her in the bareback riding tonight just to see how she likes that event. I'm sure she'll be good, and Eric should have a bunch of fun.
Go ahead. Good job. Right.
Oh, she's a great little bucking horse, isn't she? Doesn't that look fun? Oh, we should have checked that gate for you. Sorry. What'd you think, Joe?
That was just right, except you're just put your feet up there to go past that. If you're gonna do that in the middle, just freaking do it like it's burning out, and then they'll come back to you.
Okay, next we have this is Reed Neely. He's a hot man out here in California. He's a college champ and a PRCA champ, and he's just winning wherever he goes. And he's on just a really nice horse tonight, so he's gonna make I'm sure Hot Carl's nervous right now, knowing who's getting on him. He's gonna make this look like a clinic. So Reed Neely on Hot Carl. Have fun, buddy. That's pretty. That's pretty. That was nice. Took him a while to get rolling, but then yeah, we're gonna give him a little time off because we've been bucking him every week, you know. But he's still, you know, he didn't really get rolling until he turned off the fence, but then he was really good across there. The second half of the ride where he got all his points.
Got good right out over here, but man.
What did you notice?
Well, he just kind of like took a longer scoot than normal. Maybe the shamp jaw was a little too far out there. But then around here he broke and started to get nice.
This here's Eric Backport, young star coming up and comer. He's really got a lot of talent and a lot of heart. This is Dirt Road Princess, an old nice little hopper. I kind of feel bad for her because Eric's pretty aggressive with his feet. So it should be a pretty good show.
Go ahead.
Reed Neely, he's on Pirate. This horse got him to the ground last time, so this is a revenge match. Go.
He's ripping her guts out today, wasn't he?
Yeah, she didn't have her day. anyway, what I'm doing right now, I'm putting my saddle on. So we usually drop the cinches over the far side, you know, because we're getting saddled from inside the chute. And you make sure, like I just had my latigos crooked, so I'm going to redo them, make sure they're straight and they pull good. And then Jess has already marked my rein. We have two ways to measure rein. It's very important, you know, that you give a horse somewhere near the right rein, because if you have a high-headed horse and you give him a bunch of rein, you have no leverage point. And if you have a horse that takes his head and bucks with his head on the ground and you gave him an average rein, you're either going to have some pulled through your hand, which they can do sometimes. Jess and I actually put a finger in the rein so they don't get the rein from us. So if we have one that really wants it, it's not a good thing for us. So these horses, you know, we've been on, we pretty much know their deal. Now, so I've got my cinch and my back cinch, they're all straight. I hang them on the opposite side. I'm going to go ahead now and take a hook and hook them from underneath the horse, and I'm going to go ahead and run my latigos around my cinch from this side, and then go ahead and just, I keep my back cinch loose until right before we ride, because sometimes that'll make them kind of want to buck with that back cinch, right? And we don't want them bucking in here. So I'll wait till right at the end. And okay, so I'll come back to it when I'm measuring my rein after I got her pulled. You cinch these horses, you want the cinch to be right behind their front legs. Okay, and you don't want it too far up, because you don't want to, you need to be able to get a hold of them when you're riding them. And if it's too far back, then A, the horse is using more of its hind end to try to, you know, launch you out of that saddle. And B, it's harder to reach up where you're supposed to be for the maximum amount of points, right, when you spur them. So right behind the legs, straight up and down the cinch, and then we don't cut them in two, but it's got to be firm, right? Because the last thing you want is to pull a loose saddle and have your saddle rolling around when you're trying to make a bronc ride. Yeah, it's nice to have, you know, we always have community in rodeo. Even if you went to a rodeo and you didn't know anybody, there's people there wanting to help you. The bronc riders are much more friendly than the bareback riders, but the bronc riders are always supporting each other. Bull riders, we don't like to talk to them unless necessary. We don't want to pull their ropes for sure, because they absolutely give you, for sure, a hernia, you know, somewhere in the way they like those ropes pulled. Okay, now Reed's going to hold her head straight, and I'm going to pull the cinch back, or the rein back rather. And see, that's right where average is, okay? And she bucks with her head a little lower than average. So I'm going to give her 2 fingers. So X means average. So if you ask someone about your horse and what rein they take, they'll say X, that means average, or X and 2 means, you know, like an extra braid, or X and 4, or double X, you know, that's what, or chop them off if they buck with their head high. So this mare is just kind of, she's about what you want as far as the rein and all that stuff. Okay,
nice sign language for the day.
No more commentary. I got like, do my job.
Go Tim,
Yeah,
go George! Yeah! Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah! Oh shit!
You know, as you saw, I'd set my feet and then once in a while get behind and have to jump back at her. So, you know, it's my second horse since whatever, January. So I'm getting stuff rolling again. I felt like I kept trying, lifting, and when she would jack me out of there, I'm gonna make a few little fine-tuned adjustments on my saddle, because I was just wanting to be run out the back. So that means I need to adjust my front binds to where they go tight quicker, so I don't have that, you know, when I charged at her, everything was good, but then when I would drop my feet, because, you know, a couple times you saw in there, I had to pick her back up, she'd be shooting me out the back. So that just tells me I need a little adjustment. But anyway, that's a really great horse. She always bucks, and I love this sport. obviously Jess, I said, you know, is a phenom for riding at 41. I'm 57, so I don't want to be the novelty act. I want to be able to ride good, or I don't want to do this anymore. As long as I feel I can be competitive, I'll keep after it. Thanks, you guys. This is George Veater. This is the end of our practice. Thanks for watching. We again are big supporters of high school rodeo and also the Fresno State Bulldogs. And Uhuru Adem, great friend of mine, he's the coach for that rodeo program. They have 49 people now in the program.
Yeah, 49.
So they were the very greatest college program in California, beat Cal Poly the last full season, which hadn't been done in like 40 some years. So, I mean, Ben Londo's my really good friend, but you smoked him and that was very impressive. So we have a fundraiser coming up and a big event that all the profits are going to Fresno State. We're donating our facility and the animals and all of the contract work to put it on, and then the Fresno State supporters are putting on the rest. But go ahead and tell us about this event, Uhuru.
George was graceful enough to donate his arena and his facility to put on a big time Bronc match there at the end of October. And we're going to have our Fresno State kids here, some alumni, and we're just going to have a good time, and everybody's going to get together and watch some really good bronc rides here.
Thank you. And Uhuru and I rodeo, we were traveling partners in 2015, and it was a party all of 2015. He's just a great bronc rider, great guy, cares about this sport immensely, helps everybody, and he makes fun of himself all the time, which allows us to make fun of him without any guilt. And he's a great guy, so thank you. Okay, I'm doing a shout out to my friends in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So we have Tara and her oldest daughter Courtney, and her middle daughter Chloe, and her youngest daughter Cameron. Hope you guys enjoyed the rodeo tonight. And one of the pickup horses was Blackie. That's the one that you want to ride, Chloe. And in fact, you can turn around right now and Uhuru's on Blackie. And look forward to you guys coming out soon. So thanks for watching.